Hi everyone, it's Andrew Wine here, practice principal and sports physio at Balwyn Sports and Physiotherapy Centre. Well, it's Wimbledon time and we're all hoping Ash Barty and the Aussies do really well. And I thought I would give you my top 3 tips for staying injury free, particularly for those who are a little bit older like myself. I'm now 40 and I've just started playing competition tennis after a huge break. And if it's anything like some of you out there, you're starting to notice you're getting a little bit sore. So here are my top 3 tips. The first one is relating to general conditioning. Often we've had a huge break and we still think we're as fit and strong as we used to when we were last playing, maybe in our teens or even our 20s. But the reality is we're not, and we've had kids and we're busy at work, and so we're not as fit and strong as we used to be. So it's really important to get in the gym and get fit and strong before you get on the tennis court, rather than trying to use tennis as a way of getting fitter and stronger. That's when the body starts to struggle, and the demands of tennis, changing direction and hitting the ball hard like we used to, is so tough. So make sure you do a little bit of, I recommend 6 weeks of conditioning, 2 to 3 times a week in the gym would be ideal before you set foot on the tennis court to play any sort of competition or match. Second thing is around equipment. And when I pulled out my racket and took it in to get a restring, the tennis pro laughed and said he remembered these from the early 90s, and said that if I didn't want to get a sore shoulder, I should get a new racket. So I went and did that, and I also got a new restring. It does make a difference. The older rackets, particularly smaller and heavier, can make a difference. The type of string you have makes a difference, depending on whether it's full poly or a mix. So talk to your tennis professional about getting the right racket for you, and they will talk to you about arm-friendly stringing, and that's an important component as well. Tip number 3, and the final one, is warm-up. Now, it might be summer in the Northern Hemisphere and it looks really warm in Wimbledon, but it's cold here in Australia, certainly in the southern states anyway. So make sure you don't step onto the court and go straight into trying to hit winners. Make sure you warm up nice and slowly, hitting gently, even if you're jogging a few laps maybe around the court before you start really getting into it. So a good 10-15 minute warm up, some gentle stretching. I like ballistic stretching, so some leg swings, for example, or some general movement things before you get into it. So they're my top 3 tips. Stay injury free so you can play more tennis and enjoy your sport.